Hello everybody, I am your Chief of Wrestling, Craig Addison, and you're listening to Dirt Sheet Mania, episode 17. Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Dirt Sheet Mania, and again, me and Kieran are not together.
Oh, yes, I am.
Lies. We are actually. Hi, Kieran.
Hello.
You alright?
Yes.
You looking alright?
I'm okay.
Boys and girls, if there are any girls listening. Kieran's lost some weight.
Of course they're listening.
I hope there are.
They know that I've lost 1 stone, and I am...
As the gentleman from Cultaholic, King Ross says, or just Ross now, you are a sexual wank pheasant, Kieran Smith, aren't you?
I do try to be, especially on the weekends.
Especially on the weekend. So we're back, Dirt Sheet Mania episode 17. I'm so glad to be sitting alongside you. Yeah. It's so much better.
It's nice to bounce off someone.
Yeah.
And
you did better last week.
I haven't really bounced off anyone in quite a while. So.
Banter. I thought you did actually quite well last week.
It was easier the second time around the first time. Jesus.
Well, you can tell you've got some practice.
Yeah.
I know I'm, got a bit more practice in it and a bit more experience in it, but it's still difficult to sort of sit there in a room trying to record something, and on one of the records, I'll let you all into this little secret which I haven't told you. I was mid-flow, it was going really well, and I didn't realise, but the way the computer was facing is away from the door and in the spare room of mine and my girlfriend's flat. And Lisa walked in, and she was very stealth about the thing. Now, she reckoned she wasn't, but at the point where she goes, "You done yet?" I went, and oh mate, I'll have to find the recording and see if I can.
She obviously can't get enough of you, Craig.
Let's get it on.
Which is good to see and hear,
mate. We can't keep up. We can't. She can't spend 5 minutes alone without me. I've been at work.
You were about to say she can't keep her hands off you.
Let's get it.
I can't keep my hands off you either.
So that's nice to know. Should we talk about Monday Night Raw?
No, let's talk about hands.
Let's get these hands. And that's a perfect segue to the start of Raw because, ladies and gentlemen, Braun Strowman was out to the ring. He made a statement, didn't he? He said that he was going to win Money in the Bank. And then he didn't really pre-announce that he was just going to say, right, I'm going to say this place that time, Brock. But it kind of felt like that was his intention of if he won, that's what he would do. Cards on the table, he wants Brock Lesnar. He's not shying away from it. He's not trying to bide his time. He's not someone that's going to hold onto a briefcase for 7, 8, 9, 10 months and then wait and wait. He is someone, if he wins that contract in a couple of weeks' time, he's going straight in for Brock Lesnar.
I said a couple of weeks ago that I like and I'd prefer the idea of Braun Strowman winning it, him turning up on Raw the next night and going, Brock Lesnar, I challenge you to a match for the Universal title at SummerSlam. That's it.
Or in 10 minutes.
Yeah, well,
but to a match.
Yeah, but that's what it'll be. SummerSlam, obviously. I mean, because Brock Lesnar doesn't appear
because of Baron Corbin losing. I think whoever wins the men's Money in the Bank this year will win the WWE or Universal titles.
Yeah.
I think it feels like a while since we had a really good cash in. Actually.
Yeah.
Who was the one before Baron Corbin?
Who was it, Craig?
Honestly, I'm asking you.
It was Dean Ambrose.
Do you know, because he did it on the night?
He did it at Battleground, didn't he? Yeah.
No, it was on the same night.
That was on the same night.
Because he won, and then it was Seth versus Roman.
Yeah.
And Roman went in champ. Roman went in champ.
Seth won, and then didn't cash in.
So that was the whole...
Three members of the show.
Yeah. And then the rematch happened a month later.
At Battleground.
And Roman was suspended for a month.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was it, yeah. Hard
to build a 3-way storyline when one of the guys can't show up because he's suspended.
Any storyline when one person isn't there in anything. Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker.
Poor Bray Wyatt. So Braun's out. Obviously, he wants Brock Lesnar. Finn Balor's out because last week they had an extremely competitive match. But it did end in a lot of respect between Finn and Braun. Like you'd imagine it would. They've tagged a bit. There's that kind of... They're both good guys, but, at the moment, which I kind of like, is that it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a good girl or bad girl. It doesn't matter. If you have the title or if someone does something to sort of annoy someone, they're going to tell you. And that's a bit more like real life, really, if you really want to break it down.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit there and say, is this person a face? Is this person a heel? I don't think there's so much it is as black and white as that these days.
If we're led to believe Mr. McMahon, basically the man of the legend himself, doesn't like the phrases anymore of babyface and heels. He more is if they like them, they'll cheer. If they don't like them, they'll boo.
Yeah.
So, sure,
I still think in the terms of a wrestling match, you still need one to be a face and one to be a heel.
Well, I said and we'll get to it a little later on with a little situation with the women's title with Nia and Ronda. For me, if something's gonna be done, in my opinion, the best way, you have a person you can cheer and a person that you can boo. So there's someone you want to win and there's someone you don't want to win. I think Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, when the streak was broken. I think. I think when it was done the other way around, when you have face, Rock and Austin at 17, that obviously worked, like generally worked. But then you look at other scenarios. I remember, this is going to be random, so bear with me. But it was American Bash 2005. It was supposed to be a triple threat match between Bobby Lashley, who's US champ, versus Finlay versus Regal, and Lashley got injured. So, and the other two people were part of Booker T's King's Court, and it was two heels against each other. It was a good match if you just look at it as a match.
Technical.
They beat the crap out of each other, Kieran.
Well,
it was Finlay and Regal.
Yeah, it was technical in terms of.
But people didn't really care about who won. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to care about who's going to win the match and who's going to lose. So that's what the angle is in the moment. And Finn slaps Braun,
which I like.
Big old balls of Fido. Kurt's straight out and he makes the rematch from last week for right now. So you can be excused for getting a bit confused if you were early switching off from last week and late switching in this week. You think that it was a match continuing.
So let's schedule next week's Raw.
Okay.
Kurt Angle comes out.
Again.
You suck. Mm-hmm. He gets the crowd to chant you suck.
Sometimes I think he just needs to not play cheerleader and just sort of he's coming to he doesn't even have to do that. He's coming to the ring to do a general manager business, anyway. Go on.
And then competitor A is in the ring, and he gets interrupted by competitor B. Kurt Angle suddenly makes a match for competitor A versus competitor B.
When's that?
Right now.
Really?
Monday Night Raw.
In a nutshell right now, isn't it, basically?
That's pretty much how it works every week.
It is.
You don't get it's a standard opening. There always seems to be an opening segment to the show, a promo segment these days. You very rarely get a match,
apart from that gauntlet match. That is amazing. 90 minutes.
The only other thing I can think of that was maybe different. There's probably has been loads of different things, but different thing was when remember Evan Bourne attacking Edge to start an episode of Monday Night Raw. I tell you, started before Raw.
Do you know what? Let's just go off topic. The best start of Raw I enjoyed was when the week before they all walked out on Triple H. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Triple H went to the ring with like one cameraman, no one on comms, no ring announcers, no referees, barely one person backstage, maybe doing the lights and the music. And then, I'm trying to get this in the right order, Cena comes out and says, I'm with you. Then CM Punk comes out and then Sheamus. Yeah. And Triple H says that Punk can do commentary and ring the bell, and he gets double pay, and he gets to wear his blazer. You can wear my blazer. Triple H, because he was the best person in black and white, gets a ref, and it'd be Cena versus Triple H, Cena versus Sheamus. That was because it was so different.
Whatever happened to this CM Punk geezer?
Did some sort of fighting thing, yes. But he will be All In, doing some signatures. We'll talk about that in our ramble, actually. So not necessarily that, but a match that will happen. So. Just bear with us there. What might happen. Anyway, Monday Night Raw at its finest. Kevin Owens comes out on commentary for this one. Because he's also in the Money in the Bank match. And he basically wants these two to beat the crap out of each other. Because partway through the match, he'll grab a microphone and he'll wind up Braun. And he'll grab the mic again and wind up Finn. So they kind of try a little bit harder to beat the other one up. So eventually Kevin Owens just jumps in the ring and starts beating him up. And the bit there was when Braun got a ladder and threw it like a tennis ball.
As he does.
Rather impressive, wasn't it?
As he does, yeah.
Went quite far. How far up that ramp did it go?
Probably a good 15 feet, I'd say.
Over half.
Yeah.
And that's a big ramp. So later on, Kurt does make a match. Kevin Owens, he will be facing Bobby Roode. Not to get our Bobbies confused.
Booby Rude.
Bobby Roode. Later on tonight. And, yeah. And then after that match has sort of come to a head, Braun comes back out to get Kevin Owens to kind of finish him off from earlier on. And then just as Bobby Roode's like, yeah, nice one, cheers Braun, thanks for having my back, man, he then body slams Bobby Roode as well.
I like the fact that for this episode of Raw that they actually seemed like they had something for Braun to do, because Braun's not really done much even since winning the Greatest Royal Rumble, even maybe before that. Tagging
with a child at WrestleMania,
yeah,
that doesn't sound like they know what they're doing with him, does it?
So I'm glad they gave him something to do in terms of that he's been involved with all participants. Mm-hmm. And I think what you'll find as well with Raw and SmackDown is that because it's multi-man matches that are the main focus.
Yeah, lots at the moment.
There's a lot of... It doesn't seem like they're settled on any feuds. It's just like, this week Kevin Owens will just face Braun Strowman. And next week Bobby Roode will just face Elias. And it just seems to just throw away matches because they're multi-man matches, you know.
But they don't mean any
yeah, that's what it is. There's no real feud, and I suppose that's why maybe the Sami Zayn Bobby Lashley one. It's a mid card feud, but it's a feud. It's not like they've just been thrown together. They're trying to make a mid card feud there, which I can appreciate.
Which they made from the fragmentations of random squash tag matches between Bobby and Braun versus Kevin and Sammy, which I really like how they've kind of very softly just kind of gone a little bit separate. 100% if Sammy pops up at Money in the Bank and tries to help Kevin, fine, because that would still make sense. If we were playing 2K18 and it had no tag team under the stables, but then you went to the individuals, it would still have Ally, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? So you can still be friends with someone, but not actually have to be walking around hand in hand with them 24/7.
Yeah, like I said, I just think this is the problem with, like I say, the multi-man matches being the main feature. Like, you know, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. We all know that Money in the Bank is one of the most must-see pay-per-views of the year.
Well, it's the fifth one now, isn't it?
It's the fifth one. I'd put it number 4. I'd put it above Survivor Series, which is the only time once a year that SmackDown and Raw face each other in a one-on-one competition. Just remember that.
So we're talking about Elias then. So he actually is doing a song/promo, and this is another thing that happens a lot with the. Okay, so it's almost like they go, right, we're going to send Elias out. He's going to do a little bit of a song, and then person insert name will interrupt him, and then Elias won't actually have a match with them, because that happens all the time, even at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's how much that doesn't happen. And then the two people then that actually want the feud will have the feud, and then Elias will just sort of do something in the back. I thought Elias would be a Intercontinental or United States champion by now.
Yeah, I don't know if
am I wrong for thinking that?
No, I don't think so. But I don't know. It's easy to sit there and sort of bash that some people aren't doing things and things like that in terms of the booking, but I don't.
Kieran, bear in mind
the men's roster's deep on both shows.
Well, bear in mind, okay, so we're talking about all these guys on Raw, and we will do throughout the show, but we are still missing Jason Jordan and Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. What
on earth are they going to do?
Is this a reason? Is the lack of the Universal Champion on Raw hurting this?
I tell you what, it's also lacking this now. The fact that they've gone to 4-hour dual pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That's huge. We have.
I get why.
No, absolutely. It's quality.
Backlash was
ropey.
Yeah.
Confusing.
And it went long as well. And an interesting thought on that, which we probably can talk about in the Ramble as well, Royal Ramble, that the Big Four will be going 12 till 5.
Yeah, no, 11.
In
11?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
6
this is obviously English to British time, British summertime. But 12 till 5, 11 till 5, the pre-show. Oh, God, it's just too much. It's too much.
Till 5.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, so I think we won't be selected. We will watch them. Of course we will, but it won't be fun. Anyway, if they're 5 hours, we want good pay-per-views. I'm not waiting 3.5 hours for a 3-minute squash match. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. So, anyway, Finn comes out, interrupts Elias. Sweet gear from Finn, by the way. The red stuff. Seth. This is what I mean. They look so similar. I both do this
in your dreams.
Oh yes, nice abs.
Together.
We go together. Anyway, so out comes Seth. Nice gear, by the way. He looks like the Red Power Ranger a little bit.
Okay.
I love the Power Rangers.
You just started singing some sort of
Grease
song, and then you mentioned Power Rangers.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff are you into?
I
Tell the ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't sleep very well last night. So, and then, as I said a minute ago, Elias doesn't have a match because Seth has that match with Jinder Mahal for the Intercontinental Championship. Really good match. And like we've seen over the past few weeks with these Intercontinental title matches, I actually, at one point, was more or less sold that Jinder was going to win by basically cheating as much as possible with the help of a chair, with the help of submitting on ringside. And eventually, the match does end. Actually, Jinder did win this. He won this match via disqualification. Obviously, you can't change the title on DQ. It has to be a pinfall or submission, unless stated otherwise. And as Seth was leaving, with the title, with the chair, Elias did jump him. So Elias did get some sort of roundabout retribution this time. Doesn't always. But the last 2 weeks for Seth haven't been great. He's been jumped by Jinder, and now he's been jumped by Elias.
But he's
Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, but Seth is the champion of Monday.
He is. He's the only...
And the thing is as well, in terms of the matches, they're doing a great job of actually making him seem like he's vulnerable and he can be beaten in these matches, which is good. Because it's very easy to sit there and say, Seth's going to be Jinder. Yeah, it's just, But when they can actually suck you in and say, oh, no, Jinder's going to win, and then, Seth kicks out last moment, shenanigans or whatever, it's good. And it's good to actually sit there, suspend your belief, Jinder could actually win it, or, The Miz could actually win here,
Well, the only good thing about Backlash was Seth versus Miz. Yeah. The fact that went on first, if we were clairvoyants and we knew what was going to happen to the future, then you would have turned it off then.
Well, Seth will probably open up every single pay-per-view.
Because he's class.
Yeah,
especially while he's Intercontinental Champion.
He sets the tempo for the night. That's, someone like Seth can do that. Finn Balor can do that,
The way the WWE is going now, and I don't know if anyone's ever looked at it like this in regards to a pay-per-view and a show, and you probably have a rough idea of where matches will go. But back in the 99s towards the 2007, 8, 9, 10, you would have, so back for a good solid 10 years, you kind of could guess if there were two big matches, then they would go on second, third last and last. And then in the middle, you'd have your down match, which would, unfortunately, in that respect, be a women's match, be a throne, no one cares, singles match where people go to the toilet, have a breather, get some more food for the main event. But now, those matches don't...
Yeah, now, and especially in a 5-hour pay-per-view, where you're going to want to be first and about third last. Because you're not going to want to go on last in a 5-hour pay-per-view.
If you're going on last, you need the right storyline, the right talent, the right match type. You have everything has to be literally. I know it's WWE, so it should be.
That's why Roman's not worked in the main event.
Of course, because the shows are too long. People
no one's invested enough to stay that long. Maybe if he was second, third match of the night, maybe they'd be a bit more invested in it.
Or first,
yeah. So maybe, that might be something that WWE do in the future.
3-hour Raws, people are kind of used to now, so that's no excuse. But to have a standard pay-per-view now, a standard pay-per-view will be 4 hours long, from 12 till 4. Sorry, midnight till 4. And then the big 5, the other big 4 will be 6, and then hours. WrestleMania will be 7.
Yeah.
So
I like how you include pre-shows in that. Like it's
you've got to, because there's matches. If there wasn't matches, I wouldn't count them.
But how many times do we go, we must watch the pre-show unless it's a WLC match?
Best match ever on a pre-show.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay, you see my point though. So yeah, it's multi-mans again, isn't it? We'll come back to that point. So Nia Jax. Nia Jax.
Yes.
So I'm aware I want to, we rambled a lot already. But we've seen this from two sides. Nia Jax, ladies and gentlemen, at WrestleMania, which was 8 weeks ago.
Probably about that, yeah.
About that, with the Greatest Royal Rumble and Backlash and drafts and all sorts, it feels like 6 months ago, doesn't it?
It does,
doesn't it? Yeah. Especially with our busy lives.
Yeah.
But it's in realistic terms, it was beginning of April, and we are at the end of May, so it was probably about 8 weeks ago, give or take. And Nia was the babiest of the baby, smiley baby face underdog, representing plus size women, be a star, doing the right thing, don't let the bullies win, right person, perfect scenario, getting her own back on the little bullies that was Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, not allowing the bullies to do what they wanted to do.
She got a WrestleMania moment from that.
She got everything. She got her first women's championship. She never won it in NXT. Her first ever women's championship was technically a women's world title.
Yeah.
She's a one-time women's world champion, current women's world champion, as a babyface. Push her to the end. And then, about 2 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, they announced that at Money in the Bank, Nia will defend her Raw Women's title against Ronda Rousey. Now, a few sort of like, okay, they kind of did it in a friendly way at like a press conference, didn't they, during the European tour when they were still in America. They were sat next to each other. They challenged. I accepted. Very civil, very un-WWE, really. Kind of un-entertainment-y, really, if that's even a word. Un-entertainment-y. And within that space of time, between that being challenged and accepted to now, Nia is a heel. Can you talk? Because I know this annoys you.
It annoys me so much. Like, look, I get the reason why they wanted to put Ronda in this match. I get it. I understand, right? They're building on the success she had at Mania and how good she'd be. She's obviously had a few good matches on the European tour as well.
Yep.
That people have enjoyed. And she's obviously even impressing her fellow women superstars.
She does put the old butts in seats.
Exactly. And she does. She is a cash cow at the moment.
It is what it...
I would never call her a cow.
Oh, she'll kill you. But it is what it is.
Right, I get it. I understand, right? But could they have not with Nia dropped the title to Alexa again? Just a random rematch, something like that, and then just have Alexa versus Ronda. Like, drop the belt, move it on. Right?
Would Ronda beating Alexa be anywhere near as credible for Ronda?
Alexa's a four times women's championship, four times.
You know that. I know that. And the hardcore fan and the semi-casual fan will realise, oh, that Alexa Bliss has always got a title around her waist. You know, she's pretty good. But what they're doing is they're drawing new people in to watch Ronda, which some UFC... I know for a fact, once I started hearing about the name Ronda Rousey, and when I knew Brock Lesnar was going to UFC again, or for UFC 200, and when CM Punk debuted in UFC, I watched UFC.
Yeah.
And that's what Mr. McMahon, Vince wants, Triple H, Stephanie want, Shane want. They want people to now tune in and watch Raw and watch Money in the Bank to see if Ronda can beat this big Amazon type.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But she probably, whether she wins or not, I think it's probably most likely she does. But
I think she has to at the moment.
But you've just changed a character, a positive character in terms of the world over. Little girls will look up to her and say, you know what, I'm a slightly bigger girl, but it's okay.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
And now she's turned into this bully, especially with this...
She's a bully!
This segment on Raw where she's having an exhibition match and she's basically squashed her like a bug.
What she did, Kieran, is she verbally mocked and abused another lady on Raw 9 weeks after she was told on camera that she's as fat as she is talentless.
Yeah.
Just before Mania. So it's about 9 weeks ago, she was told in a hidden camera that she was as talented as she is fat. Okay? Now, she's mocking someone. Mocking them with a mic in the middle of the match, in the middle of the ring, mocking them with and just disposing of them like they were a piece of crap.
So there's
it's lazy, Kieran.
Yeah,
it's lazy.
It's very lazy, but it's not a case. She's doing it because she wants to beat Ronda, whatever. She's changed the heel, but there's no harm in doing it in an entertaining way to put someone down. Case in point, The Rock. The Rock could put them down
just because they're cousins
in an entertaining way, but he could do that, still put them down. But she's putting them down in a way that she's bullying them.
Yeah, she is.
She was meant to be the person that was bullied, and I can take this change if it's 6 months down the line.
Yeah, sure. Or even a year down the line.
Not 2 months after the culmination of probably one of the most sort of sweetest babyface storylines
going into
the last couple of years.
Going into WrestleMania, there was no way she could lose, but you were still kind of worried that Alexa would find a way to win. And I got to the point where I desperately wanted Nia to win.
Yeah.
I was like, this girl needs to win.
Yeah.
Because if she does, it'll be brilliant for everyone. We've always sort of said she smiles too much.
Yeah.
And I thought being a babyface at this point was perfect. But already they've just pulled the plug.
To bring up WCW, it reminds me of the time that they turned Goldberg from face to heel for a month and then they quickly turned him back.
Because they realised it was a bad decision.
Yeah, like
the thing is, Goldberg probably was selling merch at that point.
Yeah. I don't think this is a bad decision because I think Nia Jax can still play a credible heel. I just think it's just the timing of it. It just don't make sense.
No, you're right. I mean,
it really does. To be honest, it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It pisses me off.
Well, when she was a heel in NXT, and I remember she faced Bayley at NXT London Takeover, and that was her being a monster heel going after Bayley, and I thought, she's going to win this, and Bayley won.
Let's as an example, Craig, would let's say Spider-Man.
Okay.
Right? Would Spider-Man suddenly turn evil because he wants to 1 week and then 2 weeks later he goes, do you know what? I'm going back to saving citizens of New York.
It's almost like...
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
This is what it's like. It's stupid.
Have you seen Justice League?
No.
Okay, well, fine. There's a perfect point in that. I saw it the other day. Yeah, no, you're right. It's like a guy that's always good. Although there's going... I mean, who's someone that's perfect?
Me.
But it's daft. But yeah, the lady in this match that she wrestled, or abused, should I say, was Michelle Webb, former judo champion, and they were putting the point over that she's similar style to Ronda. It was an exhibition match. Ronda came out to obviously have a look at it, and we've already gone over why we think this is a bad decision.
I still think that when it comes to this match of Money in the Bank, I think it'll be a good match. It'll be a lot of Nia Jax showmanship, putting her down, not letting her get back up.
We'll discuss on our preview show in a few days, in a week maybe or so.
Yeah, I still think it'll be a good match, and the crowd's going to be into it because it's got Ronda in it, and because of her impressive debut at WrestleMania. It's just the storyline part of it just doesn't make sense. It's just I don't know who's. Obviously, Vince has probably signed off on it, but it's just it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And
you take Ronda back to SummerSlam. If this was at SummerSlam, Ronda faces Nia at SummerSlam. A bit more time. You can slowly then plant the seeds of Nia turning back to.
Can I look at this? I've just thought of this. Can I look at this from one other point of view? And I want you just to sort of give me your honest, instant sort of reaction. Okay. So Nia, come from NXT. Cousin of The Rock. A lot of pressure on, I suppose, from the family. Maybe not from the family, but from family. Like, she's never, she's always been a bit different. Parts of her wrestling has always been a little interesting, never crisp and smooth. Until recently, should I say. Mike's skills have improved. She's champion. She's getting paid handsomely, I suppose. Clearly has the backing to have Ronda's first big match. Is this a case of just do as you're told?
Well, yeah, of course it is.
So,
of course
if she was in WWE for maybe another 5-6 years as a top, and I mean champion top wrestler, and then they said we want you to do this, then maybe you go, really not wanting to do this because of what just happened.
There's only two women that can do that in my eyes right now. One is Ronda, obviously. Two, Charlotte.
Yeah, well, no.
Charlotte's got the name. Charlotte is the number one woman. She will be the number one woman in WWE for 10 years.
You'd be, well, maybe longer.
Even anyone coming up for NXT, even you look at like Bianca Belair. I think is the future. I think she's amazing.
Been wrestling for like 2 years.
Yeah, and she's just got the look.
I even like Lacey Evans. I think.
Yeah, but even that, Charlotte because she's got the flair name. And
even if she didn't, because she's so talented. But yes, so that's the case. So it is. But yeah,
Nia will never be at the level of Charlotte and Ronda. So Nia has to do what she says.
Not yet. You can't say that yet.
Even in 5 years' time, even if she had a big run as a champion and she drew money and drew lots of money in main event.
What if she beats Ronda? What if they've just said we want you to do this for 2 months? We want it to be kind of a backwards babyface heel kind of thing, but then in a couple of months we're gonna come back round to you. And
I like the idea of Nia beating Ronda, and Ronda has this redemption run going,
and she beats her at WrestleMania. Nia has the belt all the way to WrestleMania.
Charlotte or Asuka at WrestleMania. I think that's the money match they're gonna want.
Too soon.
I like that idea.
Do it next year. Have her lose to Nia at Money in the Bank, and have her lose to Nia convincingly. I tell you, that'd be brilliant. Have Ronda do all right, but then have Nia like proper beat her. Pin her.
But then for the next year, you've got Ronda's running to the Rumble.
Because I know I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it one more time. Having a babyface chase a title is and then winning is the best thing ever. Yeah. Daniel Bryan at 30 is the perfect, and I mean the perfect example of that. Anyway, anything else?
Let's not talk Nia Jax anymore because it is.
There's 4 small points from Raw.
Unless you want to talk about how beautiful she is.
She's freaking gorgeous. Instagram. There's 4 quick points I just want to bring up about Raw as well. Progressive in some sort of storyline, not huge, but worth talking about. The Broken Universe, Matt and Bray, they beat the Ascension.
Can we please send the Ascension to the Lake of Reincarnation?
They did discuss that in the comms, so
they always do. Michael
do.
Doesn't like to talk about Corey. It's probably Corey.
I'm glad Corey sorted his hair out, by the way.
Yes.
Did you see what it looked like last week?
Yeah.
Not pleasant.
The sort of man bunny sort of thing. Yeah.
It looks great. The A teams, not the B team, won a tag title shot, and they ended up having a Memorial Day barbecue. I thought this was actually going to be about Royale. Turns out that's next week.
Yes.
And they had a food fight, and then eventually the B team put Rhino through a table. And I thought they were a babyface team, and they put another babyface through a table. So again,
the Raw Tag Team division is very much like they don't give a monkey's arse about it.
So the bar have gone to SmackDown. Okay, bye-bye.
The SmackDown tag division is heavy.
It's amazing.
It's
amazing. Usos, New Day, a bar. Quick note, there's a team you spotted in this food fight.
Yeah, it's the Authors of Pain. Like the most dominant tag team in NXT history. One time Dusty Classic.
One time they got screwed.
They got screwed.
Can we discuss that they are probably going to be the Ascension 2.0 now? Is that now they've lost Paul Ellering?
No.
What about
I still think they're dominant enough. I just think
another Revival, who are the best tag team we've ever seen.
Yeah, I just think
the Revival.
I think this is just a case of Vince not being happy about tag teams at the moment. He doesn't want to put them in a good enough showpiece. And that's it. Authors of Pain needed to get called up and just dominate tag teams. Pretty much like what the Bludgeon Brothers had done.
They should have done. Yeah, well, yes, and I was going to use the Braun and Nia because they did those 2 storylines almost simultaneously. Had them squashing, and then eventually bit a bit, and then it's 3-on-1, then 2-on-1, then 4-on-1, and then actual talents. Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder.
See, I wish that they, in some way, because every year, they miss sort of a year out with the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I wish they actually made the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic an actual 32-team tournament, and have it exclusive on the network, and have teams from the main roster and NXT, and just independent tag teams,
like they do with the men's and the women's,
like the Mae Young Classic.
They get in women that aren't signed.
Classic as well, because the Dusty Rhodes Classic was only 8 teams last time. I think the previously times there were 16, but the first
and even
round
then someone got injured straight off and they had to change it.
Yeah, and then the first round it would always be an NXT house show. Do a proper 32-man tournament.
I think you've got something for If I Can Be Serious there.
Yeah, I think so. But obviously they've got another Mae Young Classic coming this year as well. So
they do.
Maybe they don't have timing for it, but I'd like to see
and another WWE tournament.
A perfect time for it would be December. Just have the Tag Team Classic
just before Rumble,
December and January.
Just before Rumble,
around Christmas time, just after Thanksgiving, have it sort
of.
Look
at you and your American holidays.
Just, have a little pay-per-view called Starrcade or something like that. Because
there's a house show called Starrcade.
That is a Dusty pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So if they want to devote it,
they decided
to Dusty,
to have a house show called Starrcade, and then have War Games. Anyway, Dolph and Drew on Raw again. They look like they're gonna mug you, the pair of these two. Yeah. Drew versus Chad Gable. I love Chad. Chad Gable is such a good wrestler, and I look at someone like Chad Gable, like I look at how Daniel Bryan was just after he came out of the original NXT, and I do see really big similarities between the two. Great wrestlers. Chad Gable's obviously very good on the mic, confident.
Yeah, he's got a good deal for his.
I don't know if it's going to go any further.
No.
But you still kind of been wondering. Oh, you keep reading things on various bits and pieces that Jason Jordan's backstage. Jason Jordan's here, but still Chad Gable gets beat up. I think at the moment it seems logical to think, even if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But it seems logical to think that Jason Jordan will come back and save Chad Gable. Chad Gable might not like that, and that could be a storyline to go from that.
So here we are talking about the fact there's not a lot of tag teams on Raw, when in fact there actually really is.
There's shitloads.
It's just not credible enough tag teams.
There's bucket loads. Even a member of the unappreciated Raw members of Raw tag team, the Good Brothers, Kyle Anderson and Luke Gallows, unappreciated on Raw, I think. One-time Raw tag team champions. Yeah. Massive tag team. Original members of the Bullet Club. Massive pop when they first showed up on Raw and beat up the Usos. Huge. And then they go to SmackDown and guess what? They got a title shot. What? Yeah. Like, what?
To be fair to them, and we'll probably talk about it in SmackDown, they look, I mean, especially Kyle Anderson looks in
Instagram, but again, back on Instagram, them two, they look, and Twitter, are ridiculous. Yeah. Hashtag sing sweet stuff, Good brother. Yeah. They look great. They do look great.
But yeah, there are tag teams on Raw, they're just not credible. And I think even if Jason Jordan comes back and reforms American Alpha. And
they were SmackDown champions for like, what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. Because they lost it to Orton and Wyatt. Right? Yeah.
They did.
But that's a credible tag team.
And they beat Orton and Wyatt.
Yeah. I think
they
beat, I can't remember. It was one way round. But credible tag team. McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler. I'd say a credible tag team. They're not obviously... They were sort of thrown together.
Credible singles wrestlers.
Yeah, but they're a tag team.
Yeah.
So there is tag teams there, and there probably is about 8 tag teams on Raw, but they just need to make them credible and put them in matches and just have them win and lose, and don't do 50-50 booking, but... You know, have Breezango on Raw.
Do you know what they should do?
Have another tag match, and if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose.
Have a number one contenders tournament.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
That would last... What you can make that last to if they started a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a 4-week thing, isn't it?
Of course
really?
it is.
You know,
have 2 or 3 matches on each Raw. There you go. There's half your Raw booked till the next pay-per-view. Done. Thank you very much.
Where's do it on the Superstars or main
Can I have my check? Oh, steady.
Well, get people.
Do you remember when they had the app in the commercial break? Yeah. You could keep watching. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
The last little thing I want to talk.
Never ends in the middle of an advert break, does it?
No, it doesn't. Did though once.
Well, probably.
Last thing I want to talk about before we talk about the main event is Sami Zayn, and he actually did sort of not mock, but he did bring up to the fact that his segment
acknowledged.
He did little hat tip, if you like, his little. I want to call this rivalry the Flat Cap Wars, because they both wear the flat cap very well.
The Flat Cap Wars of 2018.
2 men were there: Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn. Who will they be? Flat cap on a pole match. Oh,
book it.
Flat cap on a pole match, or Bobby's sister on a pole.
No,
Judy Bagwell on a forklift. No,
please, we don't talk about that here.
Sammy.
Flat cap on a pole match, I can go with.
Seriously, because I'd like that.
Have a flat cap match where the 2 wrestlers have the caps on their head while they're wrestling, and the first person to grab the hat off the head.
The person that wins has to put the cap on the other one. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So, Hallouma kick. Oh, God. He's got the flat cap. He's going to put it on. Oh, my God. He's got a family off. You know, just pitch that.
Yeah, I think we're slightly getting a bit too into flat cap.
They're going to have a match at Money in the Bank. That's all you need to know. Let's. It's going to be the pre-show.
This still...
Pre-show.
Like I said, it's a mid-card feud. I said I can get behind things like
this.
But
it's a storyline.
It's a storyline.
It's crap, but it's a storyline.
It's a storyline. But like I said last week, I still appreciate the fact that Sami Zayn is actually putting effort into it. You can actually see it. You can see him going,
I like Sami.
This is a load of rubbish, but do you know what? It's my job. I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm gonna put my all into it. And that's the type of thing that, you know, someone like a Vince McMahon or someone will see backstage and go, do you know what? This isn't any good, but Sami's trying his hardest. Maybe he deserves a title match.
Do you remember when he was on Raw originally? And we were like, this guy needs to go to SmackDown. Yeah. Like, he needs to.
It was the worst thing for him. Well,
no. It was good. Yeah. And we all thought, I'd love Sami to get a title shot. He was in big matches. He was in big titles, big rivalries. And now he's back on Raw, kind of gone full circle. And at the moment, because he will be beat by Bobby Lashley, let's not pretend he won't be, kind of nearly back to square one. But a heel instead of a babyface.
There's a lot of singles wrestlers around the both world title pictures.
Finn Balor's one of them,
especially on SmackDown.
I think Raw's got a lot.
Yeah. SmackDown to me's got like better, but Raw's got credible ones there. But it's just Sammy's just lost in that mix when you've got Kevin Owens, when you've got Bobby Lashley,
Well,
when you've got even Bobby Roode, and you've got Seth,
the
when
guys
you've
come
got,
from NXT as well. Elias,
Braun. There's loads there, and you're
I
not
think
even talking Roman and Brock there at the moment.
I don't know how. Oh yeah, true. I don't know how you'd feel if you're Sami Zayn and you and Kevin are basically level pegging, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, Kevin's qualifying for Money in the Bank, and Sami, you're going to go and have a nothing feud with Bobby Lashley." Ooh. Anyway, it's a feud. It's over something. It's hilarious, but who cares?
I guarantee if Triple H was in charge, and we all talk about this, Sami Zayn would be one of his top guys there. I'm pretty sure of it.
At the end of the day, there was a WrestleMania match about hair product between Edge and Booker T. So, if they can have a match at WrestleMania over hair product, these two can have a match about who's right and who's wrong. The last thing I want to talk about, obviously, is the main event, Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about SmackDown after that. The winner would basically last woman standing. It's a gauntlet match. Love a good gauntlet. Like we said, Raw had a superb one a few months ago, where Seth Rollins went. Was it 9? An hour.
Yeah, it was a 100-minute match, right? It was
extraordinary. We started with Liv Morgan and Bayley. Bayley won. We had Bayley versus Sarah Logan. Bayley won. But then Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan battered Bayley. Funnily enough, Ruby Riott was next. Ruby pins Bayley. Quite straightforward. I think you could probably see that one coming. Ruby then beat Dana. I was like, oh yeah, Dana Brooke. Yeah, exactly. She came out, I was like who the... Oh, it's Dana Brooke. Oh yeah. And then you kind of go, oh, it's Dana Brooke. Oh. You have that moment where you're like, oh, it's John Cena. John Cena's number 30. Oh, no, we don't like him, do we? Yes, boo him. Boo John Cena. Ruby versus Mickie James, which I think would be a nice match, to be honest. Mickey's hometown, and she made a big deal about this on social media.
So Mickey's a face again. It's just
do we don't have? Yeah, no, I don't know. Just it's like when they go to Canada, or like when they come to England.
I get this hometown, but I guarantee next week that Mickey's now a face again.
She's back. No, she's back here again. She's back. Probably back with
no, she'll be a face next week.
Ooh. So we finished with
Ruby beats Mickey, and then Ruby faces Sasha, right?
Yep, true. And you're thinking, okay, this has got to be Sasha's, surely. And it is. The Riot Squad try and make it as hard as possible, but Sasha wins. So Sasha's in the women's Money in the Bank. Just like, I mean, I don't want to sort of see him and say I told you so, not that you disputed the fact. But like I said very, very early on in these qualifying matches, just because you lose it doesn't mean you're not going to be in. But you knew that. You knew that.
I last week said I'd prefer the idea of Ruby Riott being in the Money in the Bank ladder match over Sasha.
Yeah, me too. Just because it's someone new and fresh.
Yeah.
And to have her with the Riot Squad round her. I mean, the thing is though, now people are starting to qualify and everyone's nearly there now. You start looking at people and going, right, she could win because of A, B and C. He could win because this would make sense and that would make sense. It would be great if both Rusev and Lana won because then there'd be Mr. and Mrs. It would be great if Braun Strowman won because then he'd destroy Brock Lesnar, hopefully. It would be great if Charlotte won because then she could cash in on Carmella just like Carmella did. There's lots of things that would be really cool, but we can't have all of them.
No.
And it's going to be interesting to see which one they go with. Probably none of them.
Let's go with so quick bit of foreshadowing. Let's put it out there, Sasha's climbing the ladder, Bayley pulls it down.
Well, it would finally
kicks it off
properly.
There's been a slow burn, and I don't mind.
And they've had like tepid. They've almost had like a toe dip.
Yeah.
Oh, should we do the right?
A slow burn. I don't mind that. I'm not complaining about this feud because it's not really been a feud. It's just been under the surface stuff at the moment. But we'll just kickstart it.
Once we sit down and we actually have a good look at who's in and who's out. Let's just say right away, it's quite obvious there's going to be a lot of people not wrestling at Money in the Bank. A lot of really good wrestlers. But in regards to Raw...
Let's put them in a battle royal.
One men, one women. I give it 6 months before that's a standard Raw pay-per-view open. Women's, Raw, and the men's. Seriously, I give it 6 months before that's a standard thing because they need to get everybody on the old paycheck bag and wagon. I thought Raw actually flowed quite nicely. I don't mind necessarily that there's so many people involved in certain storylines. I think I'll probably give Raw about 6.5 out of 10, I think, this week.
Yeah.
Again, hugely missing a world title picture. But the women... Yeah. But the women finishing off the show, it was a good match. It had a good storyline within the match of the Riot Squad, doing everything that they could. It got to the point where you think they don't really care who wins. They just want one of them to win. and I didn't mind that, not at all. But you look at the pay-per-view and you look at the rivalries, and I know it's Money in the Bank, so you're going to get multi-man, multi-win matches all the time. But only Ronda and Nia is really the only singles feud from Raw. Correct me?
Yeah.
Like proper.
Seth's
but
not...
then he's got even though Seth's he's kind of got Jinder, but then he's got Elias, and then he kind of teamed with Roman last week. It's kind of, there's intertwining, but with Ronda and Nia, it's just them. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't count Steph, and I certainly don't count Kurt.
You've got Sammy and Bobby as a singles feud. Oh, but
then they've got Kev kind of putting his aura in, and Braun was only there last week, so it's...
Just add him to the ladder match.
God knows.
Yeah, so that was Raw.
I wouldn't be surprised if a women's wrestler from Raw won the Money in the Bank and cashed it on Ronda.
I think
be weird.
Potential. But I think one of the briefcases may have to get cashed in on the night, and I know that it's sort of.
Do we agree with the allergy of regardless of male or female, one will end up on Raw, one will end up on SmackDown?
I don't think
just because.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see. That'll be an interesting thought process when we get to our prediction.
Or, and I like this, and I really like this. Just because you win it and you're on Raw doesn't mean you can't cash it on in the other world.
Yeah, exactly, because it's all banned.
I would be buzzing for someone if Charlotte won Money in the Bank,
cashed it,
and Ronda won,
and cashed it in on Ronda.
Oh, juicy flows. I love that. Anyway, that was Monday Night Raw, and now if you want to hear our Raw ramble, that'll come out on the weekend. So stay tuned to iTunes and YouTube for that. But now we are going to jump straight in to Tuesday night. It's going to be on Tuesdays for about 18 more months.
Indeed.
And then it's going to Fridays on the Fox network. But stick to our ramble for that little discussion. But we've got now coming up SmackDown Live. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Dirty Mania here, back with SmackDown Live. The director and the chief of wrestling here alongside each other. It is, like I said earlier, it's absolutely delightful to be next to Kieran again, as opposed to doing it over the internet.
I'm here.
Thanks for, God bless Dropbox, to be fair.
Yeah.
God bless Dropbox. So, we're going to talk about SmackDown in almost priority sort of storylines. We're going to talk about them in blocks. So, it's not necessarily in order. As per se. So we're going to start with Nakamura versus Ty Dillinger as the sort of first match. It was great that they picked Nakamura to face Ty, because the 10 count gimmick that Nakamura is wandering around doing is a perfect analogy for Ty Dillinger.
And obviously if you follow Nakamura and Ty Dillinger on Instagram and Twitter, they are actually quite good friends as well.
Yeah, they've been friends for a long time. Nakamura to me seems more like every week he's homing in on this heel character.
He thrives. He's thriving under it. There's no doubt about it.
He seems...
He's enjoying it. He's obviously having fun. I think he's a
great babyface, but he seems more at home.
Yeah,
he just seems more ruthless, more homed in.
You know what it's like having been portrayed a heel.
I do.
Independent wrestling.
Good fun. It's just a lot of fun.
You know, I remember the time when you pointed at me and told me, I can't remember what you said actually.
What?
You pointed at me and you sort of said something to me, and I gave you something back, and then you looked.
Was that when I was in the ring?
Yeah. You don't even remember this. You're so into it that you just started calling me out. When
you get in that, not like I know, but when you get in that that little bubble, I think it's probably the right word. Yeah, so there's no one that can take you down.
You're just a moron anyway.
Oh, a massive dickhead, yeah. Ask Lisa. So obviously Nakamura wins, but it's almost not about winning and losing. Then it's almost about he's mocking Ty.
Yeah.
For that 10 count.
What I would have liked to see in this match, maybe it might come across a little bit jokey and not as serious in this thing, but Ty Dillinger suddenly stands up at the 9 count, and then he stands up to Nakamura and he goes 10, and then Nakamura does a Kinshasa after. You know, just
finishes him off.
It could have been a fun little moment, but
Lana versus Naomi. And when I saw dance off, I thought, oh, really? We're gonna have a dance off in 2018 between two women on a SmackDown. this are we not in 2005 anymore? Like, is this? Have we gone back to the attitude? Like, what's
They
going
were in
on?
their wrestling gear.
They weren't in bright panties. They weren't in evening gowns. They weren't in swimwear.
Yeah.
They were in their wrestling gear. And Lana's wrestling gear is far more suited now than I think when she first sort of went down that route. She was backed up by the Rusev Day, which it's nice to see they're sticking together, because originally it looked like she was going to try and push Aiden English out.
Yeah.
And I like that. I love the fact they're sticking together. And Naomi brought out Usos, so she's got backup. And they got great chemistry. Obviously, I know she's married to...
Which one's she sleeping with again?
Married, Kieran.
Oh, sorry.
Jay?
You sure?
No. Not a clue. But, hey, she hugged them both. Who knows? And it didn't actually last as a dance-off for very long. But what they did do in their dance-off was fine. Lana did a dance, Naomi did a dance. They did a bit of a dance together before she gave her a net breaker. Which was really cool.
I like that. And the thing is that it is sports entertainment.
Yes,
and these dance-offs are going to happen. They're a little bit of downtime sometimes, especially on pay-per-views. I'm
glad this wasn't on a pay-per-view.
But the fact that they actually got a payoff from this...
And a sweet ass... Do you know what? And next week, because of the intergender stuff we've been doing, obviously, with the Mixed Match Challenge, I'd love to see a 6-person tag next week.
Well, there is.
Is there?
They've announced it.
Have they?
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah, is that on social media?
Yeah, I think Paige announced it or something like that.
Okay, great, okay. Well, there you go, see?
Like I said, it's a dance-off. I was a bit sceptical of it, especially when it was, two women in it, and, it does make you think, 2008 Divas contest, something like that.
Of course. But at the moment, I can see Rusev Day and the Usos having a... oh, no, Rusev's actually qualified, hasn't he, for Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Of course he is. I keep thinking they're going to appreciate much. But the Usos, at the moment, they're a bit...
Obviously, Naomi and Lana are in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, well, they're both in, and Rusev's in. So obviously, Aiden English will be roaming around, and Usos, unfortunately, not really much to do at the moment. So
yeah,
maybe they'll get involved in that Women's Money in the Bank if it's all breaking down.
Maybe.
Hard to tell at the moment. Hard to tell. Let's talk about one more thing before we talk about the two really, really cool things from SmackDown. Asuka versus Mandy Rose. On Asuka's entrance, she got jumped by Sonya. Now, it's very clear now, and I'm quite glad about this, that they've really distanced Paige from these two.
Yeah.
They're still together. They're not doing the dual entrances anymore as much. But it's literally now, it's Sonya and it's Mandy.
Well, they have separate entrances now.
Yes.
Mandy Rose has probably got the best entrance in WWE.
Oh, no. I like Sonya's better. If I had to pick between the two, Sonya's for me. Her music, the gimmick... Sonya's...
Yeah, maybe I'm just looking at Mandy Rose more. But she is God's greatest creation.
That's Corey every week. He goes...
Shut up, Tom!
Batshit crazy. Oh my God, you said this is... I mean, I remember when Eva Marie was around. He was like a child playing with puppies. This
is the thing. This Mandy Rose gimmick probably was Eva Marie's to begin with. Then they gave it to Emma when she was Emelina. And now it's obviously given to Mandy Rose. And Mandy Rose is a perfect fit. I even think sort of her wrestling's improving every week, and I think she's
a better wrestler about 10 times over than Eva Marie was.
Oh yeah.
So let's keep that
Let's not forget Eva Marie debuting on SmackDown after the brand split. Like her turning up and having like reasons that she couldn't wrestle. I thought that. I love that.
I like
amazing.
Again. I don't even talk about someone that's not here anymore, and that's someone that is just nothing to do with wrestling really. But yes, it's if you want to hide someone's the old ECW Paul Heyman analogy. Hide the negatives, accentuate the positives.
Wait, do you even know anything about wrestling?
Not really.
Eva Marie's the greatest thing of all time.
She is my favourite wrestler. Who was the... Is it? Oh, it was...
You're talking about Cameron.
Yeah, I am.
We bring it up all the time.
You knew... I didn't even have to say it. You just knew what I was...
Versus Alicia Fox.
Oh, my God. I think Stone Cold to kill her. What were we talking? Yeah, so she jumped Asuka, Mandy. Sonya did on the entrance. Obviously, Asuka still beat Mandy. It's just we're just moving on, really. I mean, they've got the match coming up at Money in the Bank. Neither of these ladies are in. Asuka's in the title match against Carmella. Yeah. Carmella was on commentary. They had a standoff, and then Carmella moonwalked backwards. It was just a face-off for the poster, by the look of it. It was nothing more, nothing less.
It's the women's title match, the SmackDown side of things, but it's not the main match. It's the women. Like I said on the first part of the show on Raw, it is about the two ladder matches. That's it.
Well, no, and it's called Money in the Bank. It's not called. Look at this match.
It's almost like the Royal Rumble. You know when you get the Royal Rumble match every year, and then suddenly the WWE title match is a match like Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly. You know, it's almost like that. That's what it is.
That was so random.
2 ladder matches, and then you got.
I tell you what, between the pair of us, we are really digging out some old history today, boys. And we should call this the History Podcast. Yeah. There you go, another idea. Like we need more segments.
This day in history.
They do that all the time, though.
In 1998.
WCW. Anyway,
Van Vader,
the Shockmaster, the
beat John.
Okay, so this is what I was going to say. Shush now.
You shush.
This is the picture, darling. This is the picture I'm going to paint you, and I want you to tell me if this seems a little too perfect.
You can paint.
How would you feel if Asuka and Ronda were both champions, women champions this Sunday? Well, in a couple of Sundays. That seems just a little too perfect. And I can see them going with one, but I can't see them going with both. Can you see what I mean? If you take a step, okay, individually they both should win, right? But if you take a step back and you look at the whole picture, right? He's that champion, right? Brock's over there. You've got Seth over here. Over here you've got Money in the Bank over there. Who's going to win that briefcase? Do they want apart from Charlotte? So there's 3 really credible women's champions in the WWE. 2 of them could win Sunday.
I'm picturing right now, as you said that, you were saying Ronda with the Raw title, women's title, Asuka with the SmackDown women's title, and Charlotte standing in between the both of them with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Okay. So there you are. So that means the 3 top women's title holders / I mean, the briefcase is effectively as a title is because it's a free shot, basically. That's a perfect picture.
I know we'll talk about this in our prediction show. Can Asuka lose this match?
She can't lose this match.
But she's going to, right?
Depends what the Iconics are up to.
Yeah.
Right. So that's that. Let's get to the other bits and bobs because again, 3 days later, there's probably a contender for match of the year on SmackDown. Now, I know that you might be like, Craig, there was a match of the year contender on SmackDown. Yes, there was. Because the New Day versus The Bar and The Miz in 6-man tag team action. Now, what they're doing at the moment with the New Day is they are making them make a decision on who will be in Money in the Bank. We've already speculated that one of them will be in. Obviously, maybe Big E will be in, but whoever is in of New Day, strong speculation on our count that person will win the men's Money in the Bank. Okay, like I said, there's been an argument from a lot of the guys and a lot of the girls that 2, 3, 4 of them could win.
Yeah.
Being in 8 women and 8-man matches. And then because the New Day have, wherever they share, there's an argument that that person will share that briefcase, and then there'll be an argument ensued because they all qualified, and then only one of them gets to be the briefcase holder, and then they have to have a kind of a feud, which will eventually, slowly but surely, break them up after 5 years together.
It's got that.
I
still like the idea of the triple threat for the briefcase at SummerSlam.
They started going downhill when they introduced pancakes.
Yeah.
I definitely smell this isn't good. This isn't Bootios. And they had a match with The Bar and The Miz, who do have history from Raw.
Yeah, they do.
They teamed up when they had to face the Shield plus Kurt thing. Yeah, I know. Roll eyes. Roll the eyes, Kieran. Roll the eyes. Yeah, anyway, enough said about that. So they want and because of the way this match was sort of set up, they wanted the New Day to all have single little bits of a shine. Woods, Kofi and Big E all had a moment in that match where it was like, oh, this guy might win. Or this guy might win. Match was phenomenal.
Yeah, you say potential match of the year. I don't think it will ever be better than Mania versus Alicia Fox. No,
what's he doing?
Yeah, no, it was a good match. It was a very fun match to watch. You know, even watching the highlights back as well of like the ending, it was like, it was. And like I said, every single person in the New Day got shine, right? And that's only good. You still obviously haven't chosen who's going to be in the ladder match, which is again a tease.
Find out on the night.
You'll find out.
A bit like WrestleMania.
You'll find out on the night.
There might even be an argument.
I think, you know, you'll probably see everyone down. Biggie's in the match, everyone down, and Xavier just runs in and tries to run up the ladder and grabs the briefcase.
It could be, absolutely. They have an argument who's in, they decide, and then Woods or Xavier or Big E.
I don't think there'll be an argument. I think they'll settle it. I think they'll keep the whole New Day. We're still a group. We're doing this for each other. And they
to the point of breaking.
Kofi's the more likely one to do crazy stuff off the ladder, so we'll put Kofi in.
Fair,
and
fine.
then Kofi wins it,
but
that's when the downfall of the feud starts.
In a promo, a simple line from Woods saying, "We are all WW," and Kofi just looks over and goes, "What?
Yeah,
mate, I won." And Woods like, "But we share everything. That's mine as much as his, as much as yours." And Kofi's like, "No, it's not.
Yeah.
I want Money in the Bank. This is my title shot. I've never had the WWE title. I'm going to win the WWE title. That's mine. No, it's not. It's mine." Simple. Very soft, very smooth. Yeah. We'll see.
Triple threat match. And I think that's almost the thing. Like when we had the Shield breakup, we didn't really get that triple threat between them until like a year and a half later. Like,
and then one of them couldn't be. We even spoke about that earlier, and one of them couldn't be in it.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll talk about, obviously, is a spot in the Money in the Bank match. It opened SmackDown. Samoa Joe climbed the ladder, got the briefcase, called out Daniel Bryan. Out comes Daniel Bryan. You're thinking, okay, we're going to get a little tease for later. Big Cass comes out and he says he's been re-added because originally, if we rewind a few weeks, this was supposed to be Big Cass versus Samoa Joe for a chance to be in Money in the Bank. Big Cass got injured in kayfabe, and then Bryan versus Jeff Hardy was like a second chance. If whoever wins faces Joe, who needs his opportunity. I don't know if this was planned the way they did it, or whether it was a bait and switch, or they thought we'll go long game, we'll drag it out because we're not going to give you Joe versus Bryan on free TV.
Why would they?
Why would you? Why would you?
That main event's SummerSlam.
It could be on a WrestleMania. Yeah. Let's be honest. So they put Big Cass back in this match, and Joe wins, and you can now see that this Bryan and Big Cass feud will continue. Now, the way the match went, I thought was great. Like you said earlier, you were happy with the way Bryan lost, which is weird to say, but I think you're right.
It seems like the Daniel Bryan's going for the submission-based sort of style, ground and pound, submission, everything like that. Obviously, he's had to change up his ring style. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to go down with submitting people, you're going to have to, I think, in my eyes, personally, is also submit to a tap out, to a submission move. And obviously, he didn't tap out; he passed out, which is also is a very babyface thing to do. He didn't tap out.
Bryan never gives up. He's the true monarch of never give up, which ironically isn't.
But when you see Samoa Joe go up against Daniel Bryan, they're probably same size in terms of height, but Samoa Joe's
give or take,
the bigger guy, is the more muscular guy. So having that coquina clutch on is obviously going to do damage to Bryan, especially later on in the match.
Sure.
So I just like the way he passed out and he didn't tap out.
But straight away,
because he can say I never tapped out.
But straight away, he's getting to his feet, gathering his bearings, realizing what's happened, turns around, bang, big boot. Yeah. So Big Cass Bryan continuing. How, where, why?
I think it'll be Money in the Bank.
Just another singles match.
It'll be another singles match.
It's a 7-hour.
They're going to want Bryan on the show, especially in Chicago.
Last question to sum up the DSM 17 this week. Are they treading water with Daniel Bryan? Because, again, from what we understand, he has not signed an extension. Yeah. Do you think they're waiting for him to say, I commit to you, and then they'll, in storyline ways, commit to him?
Yeah.
I think that's probably smart.
I think it's on both. I think, honestly, it's on both parts.
Do you think?
I think WWE want to see how well Daniel Bryan does with his concussion tests, because he does it. Does it after every match.
Yeah, he has to have a test.
Yeah, so I reckon they're waiting to see how
6 months, I'd say.
Yeah, evaluation. I think you'll see him ended like July time go, and that's it. WWE have to make a decision by then.
He'll be made to make. If they, I mean,
And then obviously Bryan will probably want the same in terms of because he's guaranteed that contract, and maybe he'll have a little break clause in that contract to say, if WWE don't let me wrestle, I can break the contract. I'm sure he'll want that in there for his own sake.
He will.
Because I don't think Brian's going to want to sit there and hang around doing
Like
being a
for
general
another
manager.
18 months.
Yeah.
No, he won't. He
You know,
won't.
so
Because then he'll want to go, right, I want to go to New Japan, I want to go to Ring of Honor. And if WWE want him that badly, they'll allow
WWE will want him.
They'll allow that.
I guarantee the offer's there ready, but they're just waiting right now because of the concussion, making sure everything's fine there. I guarantee it's purely on a medical thing.
I don't see anything wrong with this. There's no rush.
No.
He's going to be in WWE for a long time.
He needs to re-establish himself, and that's what he's done. We all know what he can do, but he's having these matches.
There's people that would have been watching that won't have watched 30. They won't know what happened at WrestleMania 30, and they're watching a new wrestler. Yeah. Oh, the general manager's become a wrestler. That's odd. There'll be people that see that.
You think like Big Cass is getting a massive rub of
huge, and against Joe.
Even Samoa Joe's getting the rub of Brian as well. When you think about it, you know, Joe's not really done much since getting called up to the main roster. He's had a few title matches, had a few matches against Roman Reigns, but he's not really achieved stuff. He's had a very stop-start.
Yeah.
So him going against Brian,
it's great.
You know, is good for Joe as well.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. I know SmackDown's probably seemed a little shorter, but that's because it's a much shorter show than Raw. So we're not neglecting one more than the other. It's just it's a lot shorter show.
We seem to ramble a lot more at the beginning, and we get further and further into it. We're like, hurry the hell up. Let's get this finished.
Well, I think we're getting a groove, you know, it kind of happens. So stick around. We're going to be doing our Raw Ramble now. So that's going to be on the intranet in the weekend. So if you're listening to this and it's already the weekend, then what are you waiting for? Listen to our Ramble. This week we'll be talking about a couple more things about the All In pay-per-view that the Bucks and Cody Rhodes are putting on, and we'll also be talking about Raw and SmackDown, but definitely SmackDown going to Fox. Raw maybe, we don't know, and how much money the WWE has, which is a lot of money. So this has been Dirty Mania episode 17. I have been your Chief of Wrestling, Craig Addison. Thank you very much.
I have been the Director of Creativity. I create, so you procrastinate. That's right. And
that's
I had to think about it because you usually say you and you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's me.
Thank you.
Live in living colour.
Thank you very much. Live in living colour.
One stone lighter.
Yeah, you're looking great. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on SoundCloud and
iTunes and Facebook and Instagram.
And review us on iTunes, because if you like us and review us on iTunes, that actually helps us the most.
It does.
So please do that.
It does.
Thank you very much, and we will see you next week. Dilly dilly!
Dilly dilly!